Hello, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome to our home on this beautiful Sunday morning. Mikey, this one is so bad, I don't even know if I even want to touch it. I mean, just when you think Watchtower can't possibly get more ridiculous.
Wait a minute. You mean more ridiculous than Rutherford saying that women turn into men and in paradise you're going to have a homo paradise?
Oh, yeah.
Worse than that?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Well, before we get into the main purpose of this Watchtower bullshit.
Well, we got to thank Atlantis, too. Thank you, Atlantis, for sending us this information on your research.
Yes. And Kim and I would also like to very much thank those that are leaving comments behind on our YouTube channel. Past couple days I've been going through the comments, and obviously we just don't have the time to answer every comment. But we want to give our profound thanks to those that are leaving comments, that are leaving supplemental information. Again, without you folks, there would be no Mike and Kim YouTube channel. And we really get a kick out of some of the humor that we've been reading. My goodness, it's just super fantastic and
profound.
Yeah, and I don't really think that it's up to Kim and I waking people up. It's the comments that you guys are leaving behind the videos that Kim and I are doing. So thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. Kim and I greatly appreciate what you folks are doing.
Yes.
But with that being said, I don't know how in the hell you're going to tackle this one.
Good luck, guys.
Good luck. That's why we make the videos and we just walk away from the comment section. We leave it up to you to fill in the blanks.
This is a doozy.
So what do we have here?
Oh,
the original title of this article was "Man Was Originally Sexless." Now wait a minute. If man was originally sexless, guys, what did Adam hold on to when he went pee? I mean, he had to have had an organ.
Well, not only that, but if he was sexless, then that means he had no hormones, which means he was not a perfect man.
Exactly. That means Adam would have been created imperfect. Right off the bat. Oops, Jehovah, you made a mistake in creating man with no hormones.
Yes.
Oh, trust me, friends, it gets better.
Yes. So we're going to go back to Russell, the original wackadoodle. And this is from the December 1st, 1912 Watchtower, page 5141, the December 1st. Wow. All right. Man originally sexless. The details of human creation imply.
Okay, now keep that word in mind. Imply. They're not stating a God-giving fact. They're stating that God implied this.
That Adam lived in Eden, sometime alone and sexless.
You know what? By the time Eve came along, Adam's bladder must have been that full of water, huh? Full of urine. Come on.
Well, I'm sure he had a thingy, but...
Jeez.
Yeah, but if he was sexless, and had no desire or whatever, he had no hormones.
He had no hormones.
Okay, some Bible students infer from the chronology that it was about 2 years from the time of Adam's creation until the expulsion from Eden under the death sentence. The cause for the division of Adam into two persons is stated. The earth was to be filled, populated with a race of his species, and amongst all the creatures none was suitable as a companion for him or fit to be his mate, and the mother of an offspring in his likeness. Thus again is shown that Adam was distinctly different from apes and monkeys and all the other creatures placed under his control. He was in the likeness of his Creator. Other scriptures show us that after the earth shall have been filled with a population, it is the divine purpose that the sex quality in humanity shall be dropped. Oh my God. Jesus' words are, they that shall attain unto that age of perfection, parentheses, future, will neither marry nor be given in marriage, but be like the angels of heaven, sexless. Okay, question. If the angels of heaven are sexless and have no desire, then why did the Bible say they came down to earth to be with daughters of men
women.
and have the Nephilim?
So really then you could say that God created the angels imperfect because they had the desire to come down. They forsook their heavenly places to have these relations. So God created the angels imperfect. It's got nothing to do with free will, Jehovah's Witnesses. It has to do with creating perfectly or imperfectly. See, when you wrote this nonsense, Russell, because see, I am speaking directly to Russell because in Watchtower's belief system, Russell is in heaven. Hey, you idiot! Did God straighten out your bullshit?
There's more. The division of Adam into two parts, male and female, we'll get into that in a minute, left the headship with the male, but deprived him of some of his sympathetic qualities. My God. His wife, predominating in the sympathetic tendencies, had in her perfection less of the masculine and aggressive traits. I don't know. I've met some pretty aggressive and masculine women in my time.
Hey, Russell, did you ever hear of Bonnie and Clyde?
Yeah, she was pretty aggressive.
She was aggressive in her... Yeah, my goodness.
But the two were perfectly adapted to each other's needs and fulfilled each other's ideals. And skipping down a little bit, the restitution or resurrection of the willing and obedient to be brought about by Messiah's kingdom will not mean the restoration of sex perfections, but rather the gradual perfecting of each individual in the image and likeness of God in personal completeness, such as Adam possessed before his division.
Okay, here's where some of the nonsense has to be stopped and contradicted. Okay, it says right here, but rather the gradual perfecting of each individual in the image and likeness of God in personal completeness, such as Adam possessed before his division. Okay, here's the thing. If God was so complete in his oneness, then why did he create a second being? Why did he create a helper for him? When you read the scriptures so thoroughly, God, the Bible says that God created him, and through him, everything else came into creation. They were created by him and for him. So in that very essence, did not God create a helper for himself in his Son? And his Son carried out all of this other creation? Come on, Watchtower. Come on, Russell. Surely you weren't that Yeah, he was that ignorant, wasn't he?
Yep.
Okay, but now did the ignorance just end with him?
In Rutherford? Oh, no.
No. Do we have any evidence of where Noah carried on this same type of ignorance? Well, now, wait a minute. Now, Noah's up in heaven too, right?
Supposedly.
Noah, pay attention, you knucklehead.
Yeah, everybody seems, well, most of it seems to focus on Russell and Rutherford and
then
idiocy, the clownology they printed.
Yeah.
But now we're going to jump ahead, fast forward to Noah's day. And this is from the 1956 Watchtower, September 1st, The Divine Origin of Marriage. Page 529, paragraph 14. Under the subheading, Human Wedlock Begins in Paradise. Adam felt no desires of sex. As a perfect man, he was balanced and not divided as to sex. But would he have any companions like himself? How would he get them? That was within the purpose of God, and it was not man's part to try to counsel or advise or dictate to God. Yeah. So should we show the clip from the photodrama of creation right
Well,
about
is this where Noah was getting some of his clownology too?
I'm not sure, but it makes you wonder. So let's show the clip to the... Now this is from the 1914 photodrama of creation that Russell was taking all over the world, and this is what was said.
Mother Eve was merely a portion of Adam, separated from him for a special purpose, for the propagation of a race. Adam possessed originally, in his own person, the qualities masculine and feminine, which subsequently were divided between him and his wife when she was taken from his side.
Okay, so you see how it's talking about God separated, the feminine from Adam, and it's like, I know witnesses like, oh, well, that was back in Russell's day. That's old light. Nah. Okay, fast forwarding a little. Now, this is from the same article I just read from Nor's Day, the 1956 Watchtower, September 1st. This is paragraph 16, about halfway through. God had now divided the feminine characteristics from Adam and put them in this woman, or Isha, and thus produced the human sexes in the fatherly blessing that he now gave them as a married couple. He set before them the work that he authorized them to carry on. So even in 1956, Adam was divided.
Yeah, so before we get into reading from the book, Life Everlasting, you want me to do my part in the scriptures. Because really, I want to focus on Watchtower's words
the separation.
of separating. So what Watchtower is trying to pass off as a separation, the male qualities and the female qualities built into the being that God called Adam, we can liken it to like a clear glass of liquid. The red representing the man and the oil line representing the female qualities. So what Watchtower is saying is that God separated the oil from the Kool-Aid, and from the oil he created nothing, because the creation of women was already in the man. So God separated. We're not talking about a created being, Eve. We're talking about the separation of Eve being inside of Adam, thus leaving the male qualities behind and taking the female qualities out. Yeah. So, Watchtower, did you never read Matthew 19 before you printed your new silver sword? Because you should have revised this scripture to say something like this. Matthew 19 we'll start with verse 3. And the Pharisees came up to him, meaning Jesus, intent on tempting him, and saying, Is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife on every sort of ground? In reply, Jesus said, Did you not read that he who separated them from the beginning separated them into male and female, and said, For this reason, a man will leave his father and his mother and will stick to his wife, and the two will once again become a singular entity, so that you are no longer two, but now put back into each other. Therefore, what God has yoked together, let no man separate. That's not what the scriptures read, knuckleheads. See, that's how you should have retranslated that silver doll piece of shit Bible. This is what the old rusty sword says. In reply, he said, Did you not read that he who created them from the beginning made them male and female? Now let's just go right back to what Jesus is referring to. Genesis chapter 2. And we'll start at verse 20. So, because this verse really plays into a little bit later portion into this video. So the man was calling the names of all the domestic animals, and of the flying creatures of the heavens, and of every wild beast of the field. But there was no But for man, there was found no helper as a complement of him. Hence, Jehovah God had a deep sleep fall upon the man, and while he was sleeping, he took one of his ribs and separated the woman female qualities from it. Oh, no, that's not what it says. No. While he was sleeping, he took one of the ribs and then closed up the flesh over its place. And Jehovah God proceeded to build the rib that he had taken from the man into a woman and to bring her to the man. There is nothing in this creation account, Watchtower, that even comes close to suggesting that God separated the female qualities from the man. See, the Bible account says that God took the rib and built from the rib. It was an entirely new creation. It wasn't a separation of the female qualities into the male, the female qualities from the man and built the woman. I mean, do these...
I guess they never read comprehending.
Do these guys not even comprehend? And that's what it really comes down to, because when you read this kind of bullshit from Watchtower, there is no level of comprehension. There's no level of understanding what they're saying. And yet, the Jehovah Witness will just sit there and drink up the Kool-Aid, separation or not. They'll just drink it all up.
Yeah.
But there's even more associated with this bullshit.
Yes, because Atlantis sent me more, thank you. And my BS meter went from normal over into the red. I mean, and I could not believe this. I had to get it and look it up myself. And thankfully, we have the hard book copy, 1966, the original, so that I could go back and look at this, because...
So this really goes right back to Noor building upon Rutherford's and Russell's bullshit.
Yeah, this is Noor's time period. Okay, so we're going to look on page 45, paragraph 22. Hang on, you're going to need it. Before God created anything new, a woman, God left the man free to determine whether there was a suitable companion for him among all the lower animals.
Wait a minute, he left it up to Adam's discretion to see if there was a compatible mate for him? Is this gonna really go to where I'm beginning to think it's gonna go?
Oh yeah.
All right, wait for it. Let's see if this knucklehead writes what I'm already thinking right here.
Okay. He did not oblige the man to go seeking a companion among them, thus requiring the use of much time on the man's part. But Jehovah God brought the various beasts of the earth and the flying creatures of the heavens before the man. So,
okay.
God's bringing them.
God's bringing the
before
animals.
the man.
But they just said prior to that man was left free to determine
whether there was a suitable companion among the lower animals.
Okay, so God's bringing the animals to see if man is going to determine if there's something compatible there.
I know what you're thinking. Bestiality, right?
Well, I mean, if you don't read any further, the natural human process, somebody who thinks logically is beginning to think, oh my God, are we talking bestiality in these paragraphs?
This is sounding a little bizarre.
This is sounding queer, Watchtower.
And creepy.
My goodness.
Okay, back to the paragraph.
Well, like I said, how in the world are all of our people that are leaving comments behind going to process this bullshit?
That's why I said good luck, guys.
I'm sure glad I'm not left to answer my own comments on the videos.
Okay, God gave man the freedom to name these creatures. But the perfect man, created in God's image and according to God's likeness, was not inclined to bestiality.
There it is. There it is.
Well, if he was created sexless, according to what they're saying,
why would he even determine or even think about bestiality?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, to even put the word bestiality in this paragraph is just utter nonsense.
Where does it take your mind, people?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Let me read that again. But the perfect man, created in God's image and according to God's likeness, was not inclined to bestiality. He merely acquainted himself unafraid with them and named them. Okay, then we're going to skip down to paragraph 23. After the man fully exercised his freedom to reject any of the lower creatures as a companion and helper for him, God acted. And that's when he created woman.
Gee. No, that is not when God created woman. Now, I hate to really correct you in public, Kim, but that's when God separated the woman from the man.
Wow.
Wow. Well, here's the whole thing about all of this. You're really reading this nonsense, and somebody with a thinking, logical mind has to stop and think, well, wait a minute. If man was created in God's image, and he was looking at animals to see if there was a suitable companion, then that would mean that Jehovah God is inclined toward bestiality. Think about it, Jehovah's Witnesses. And or if God also created the angels in his likeness with
Sexless.
no sex, sexless, then how is it that the angels began to desire the women of men? They began to see that the women were good looking.
Does that mean that they were thinking about the lower animals too?
Because really, from their perspective, a human being is a lower life form than the animals. So if you want to use exact terms, then these angels that forsook their heavenly positions to have relations with men are also creating with women, are also indulging in bestiality.
Makes you wonder.
You got to think about it, Jehovah's Witnesses. Or even do they think about it? No, they don't. They just read this shit and they just guzzle it down like it's from the Almighty God himself.
Okay. Now, I have the PDF of this book, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link to it down below in the description so that any who is so inclined can read this for themselves.
Yeah. So, Jehovah's Witnesses, the next time you want to drink the Kool-Aid, learn to separate the poison first.
Yeah. So thank you for watching, everybody. And if you're not too grossed out, have a great day.
Bye.
And enjoy life.